Do you need help making more sales? Well, this video is for you. Today, I'm going to share with you the 3 books that create sales superstars. All right, welcome back. If you are an avid reader like I am, you're probably always looking for a really good book to read. Now, the majority of the books that I read now, I do happen to just download onto my iPad. And so I definitely have some books in here that I really enjoy for creating sales superstars and for getting better with sales. But I've also got 3 great books, physical books, that I read because I love curling up with a good book, especially like when it's raining or like late at night when I just want to calm and relax. I don't want a screen in my face. I really just want to go old school like I used to do when I was in 7th grade and I read almost every book in the library. So today what I want to do is share with you 3 of my favorite books that create sales superstars. First, before we get into it, why is sales important? Well, when you can learn how to sell and you know how to make it rain, your bank account will never be dry. Let me say that one more time. When you know how to make it rain, your bank account will never be dry. And that's what sales does for you. So sales allows you to make it rain. And that's what we all want, right? It's just a little bit of extra money, right? We want to be able to start creating coins. We want to be able to create wealth for ourselves so that we can create our own version of a lavish life. So that's what we're going to do. And I'm going to share with you 3 of my favorite books. So the first one is The Success System That Never Fails. This is by W. Clement Stone. And this is an old school book. Now I've got to give a little bit of a caveat. There's some sexism in this book. It was written way before the whole feminist movement. And it was written in a time when the author, he just said certain things. You're just going to have to take it with a grain of salt. Okay. So you're just going to have to read over that and kind of gloss over that because a lot of the references that he makes are in particular about males who are going out and they've got to you got to eat what you kill and you got to be able to do this, you got to be able to do that so you can provide for your wife so she can stay home and cook the roast beef in the oven. So that's my caveat that I'll give with this book, but it's a really, really great book. So the reason that I really like this book is because there's lots of stories in this book. The book is not just, okay, well, let me teach you something. The reason that I really like W. Clement Stone is because he teaches through stories. So he's inside of the book, he's sharing different stories of men who are trying to sell, who are trying to make money, who keep getting like beat down. And he's sharing exactly like what they did, how they overcame it. And part of sales is getting really good with rejection and understanding that you're going to hear several no's before you hear the yes. And it's just a part of the process. So a lot of times when people get started with sales, they're just really scared to get rejection and they're scared to hear a no. But it's just like a manifestation, if not this person, then the next one. And once you get to that point, then you can understand that it's just a system. So the success system that never fails is about creating your own system, understanding that you got to put the work in, day out, keep going, keep doing it, keep doing what you need to do, because eventually you're going to get a yes. And in the meantime, start setting up those different good habits and things that you can do so that your work is steady and it will minimize the difference that comes in from, talking to different people. So for example, if you have a success system and every single time that as soon as you get up in the morning, you're going to call 10 people. That's one of the examples that he gives in here. As soon as you get to the office, you're going to call 10 people and that's going to be your habit that you do every single day. You make that a part of your success system. Then whether it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, your 5 days of the week, you got 50 calls that went out every single week. But if for some reason, Monday you do 10 calls, Tuesday you do 5 calls, Wednesday you're like, I'm kind of tired, and you don't have that success system set up, well, obviously your sales are going to be crap because you don't have that system in place every single day. And also, obviously, I love systems as well. It's exactly what I teach my clients inside of You've Got Clients program. When we work on their webinar, and essentially it's their sales presentation that can sell for them over and over and over again, it's a system that never fails. So systems work, systems never fail. So success system that never fails. Definitely grab a copy of that one. All right. The next book that I really like is called The Wizard of Ads. The Wizard of Ads is by Roy H. Williams. Yep. So The Wizard of Ads is by Roy H. Williams. Now, this book was actually given to me by a friend. I love the cover. I love the feel of the book. And even the pages, they're like a little offset. I don't know if you can see it, but they're a little offset. So it's not perfect. It feels like an old manuscript. There's also images inside of the book as you go through. So it's definitely interesting, to say the least. And every chapter is either a mini story, it's a short ad, it's nothing that you need to pick up and read from start to finish. You can skip around. It's probably a good book to put in the bathroom on your, in like a stand of books. If you got a stand of a couple of books, it's probably a good one to put in there, because literally you can pick it up and there's, a page. Like, for example, this one is called The Cocaine of Advertising. And it talks about how advertising is important because you need instant gratification. Successful companies don't spend their ad dollars training their customers to wait for a sale. So this book is a really good book. The reason that I really like the content in the book is because advertising is a little bit different from marketing. So if a lot of times people will be like, marketing and advertising, or I'm spending money on marketing, I'm spending money on advertising. So there's a little bit of a difference. So let me just explain it really quickly. Marketing is how you get people to pay attention, how you get people excited about what you have to offer. And it's everything that you do to essentially prepare for the sale. Then you've got sales, which is the actual conversion of like, hey, are you ready? Yes. Okay, great. Let's do the transaction. And then you've got advertising. Advertising is what you do to like get someone's attention and like pull them in. It's a way that you can pay for traffic to get people to pay attention to your marketing. So there are several free marketing things that you can do, like public relations. That's free. You can do, you have to pay sometimes for a public relations agency, but typically what they're doing is they want to do earned media, meaning they've got some sort of connections or contacts, and they'll say, hey, are you willing to put them on the news? And if so, I've got this thing I can do for you. And it's a relationship-based business versus strict marketing, where maybe you're doing some content at for example, let me just give you an example instead of trying to explain. So when I was in college, I worked for a marketing agency, and what I had to do was I had to go to football games. And at the football games, college football games, or actually I also did the Chick-fil-A Bowl one time. At those events, it was my job to demonstrate products, pass out products, or get people to be aware of the product. That's an example of marketing. And actually, I'll throw a couple of pictures up so you can see some examples of what I did. I worked with AT&T a couple of times. I worked with Verizon as well. I passed out Starburst Skittles packs when they had like this new thing that they were doing. And Rock Band was popular at the time. So we set up a Rock Band station. People came over to play Rock Band at the college. And then I passed out samples of the Skittles candy. So that's an example of marketing, right? It's building that awareness, getting people excited about it. And what marketing does is it makes your advertising dollars cheaper. So when people know who you are and they're more likely to want to buy, well, now when Skittles places an ad and all they're saying is like, taste the rainbow, you're like, well, aren't they wasting money because they're not telling people to go buy? Well, those ad dollars, which that's a brand recall ad anyways, but we won't get into that. But those ad dollars are like, all they're doing is reminding you that, oh, I tasted this Skittles when I was playing Rock Band. I had so much fun. I'm going to go buy Skittles, right? It's kind of a simplistic example, but that's the idea behind it. Advertising is a direct message versus marketing, which is more general, like let's get you comfortable and familiar with the brand. Hope that makes sense. So that's why I love the Wizard of Ads, because advertising is more about that direct message and also kind of has that conversion piece in it. And this is very clear on these are ads and this is why this ad works. Okay. So really good book. Definitely go pick that one up as well. The final book, this is my favorite. I will never give this one away and I will never sell it. I often give away books. So sometimes I'll purchase physical books. And after I've read them once, I usually give them away around Christmas time to friends. Like they're still relatively brand new and I just don't want to keep stacking up books myself. And if I ever want to read that book again, I would just end up downloading it on my iPad. But this is a book. I will never give this book away and I will never sell it. It's called The Sales Bible. This is by Jeffrey Gitomer. And this book, let me tell you. So let me give you the story behind this book. When I graduated my finance degree, I was really looking, trying to find a job. And I remember I had this interview with a recruiting agency because I was trying to find a finance job. But then they decided, well, why don't we recruit her to be a recruiter? A little meta, but yeah. And I went through 4 or 5 interviews. And finally, I was like, oh, this is a sales position. So that means they want me to sell myself to them. Okay, but I don't know if I'm that good at sales. So what should I do? So I went and bought the Sales Bible. And I read the entire book in like a couple days. And I remember I had one more interview with it was like the regional manager. And I had to go to his office. And I remember I like perfected a pitch. And I got in there and we went through the interview questions and stuff. And then like, I was such a better interviewer. Like I started asking questions and I had this specific pitch and I was like, this is why you should hire me. I had so much confidence. And he was like, okay, great. Well, we'll give you a call. And I was like, all right. And I was like, oh, I got this job. And then I got an interview for another job right after that. And I remember I was like, okay, well, I'm keeping my options open. Like this one, I've done several interviews, but they haven't contacted me back yet. It's still kind of up in the air, but let me see what this other company has going on. And I used the principles from the Sales Bible for that interview. And since this was the first time they were meeting me, it was like, they were like, oh, they hired me literally that same day, which almost never happens in the corporate world. Like usually there's like several interviews, there's like a week-long process. They gave me a call back and they were like, hey, we'd love to bring you on. Can you get started on Thursday? And I remember thinking like what? And so I was like, yeah. And this was a recession. Like I was ready to get any job, but this one it was a finance job, is directly in line with what I wanted to do. And I truly believe that me getting that job, among other reasons, part of that was because I learned how to sell myself. And I remember the recruiting company had called me like a day later and she was like, hey, I just want to let you know that we're not going to move forward with you right now. And I was like, oh, okay, that's fine. I got another job. And she was like, oh, really? With who? And I said, oh, it's actually a company that's in your same building. And I said, they hired me on the spot. I guess they saw my sales skills. And she was like, oh, okay. Well, good luck. I said, okay, thanks. Bye. Now imagine how good that felt for me to be like, oh, that's okay. I don't need you anyway, because like I got this job because of my sales skills. And now you see what you passed on. But anyways, another story for another day. So the Sales Bible. So the reason that I really like the content in this book is, number one, it's funny. Like it's funny as like a business book can be. It's funny. And secondly, it's broken down into manageable chunks and pieces. So every chapter and every section that you read, it's really easy to like capture the importance from that one chapter. Sales is one of those things that it's not just what you say, but how you say it. And he talks about how to approach things, how to think about it, how to think from like the customers or the client's perspective. And it really helps you to kind of craft and create your own sales process. Everyone has a different sales process. If you feel like you're being salesy on a sales call, it's likely that you're taking on someone else's sales process instead of crafting and creating your own. And that's part of what we do inside of You've Got Clients. Actually, in module 6, you'll learn like my sales formula, like my sales outline, but you'll also learn how to make it your own so that you don't feel salesy. And also the webinar does a lot of the heavy lifting for you. So people already come like ready to buy. But once you do it on the phone, in order to not mess it up, which he talks about in this book, like how to close a sale that's basically already closed and how you can potentially mess it up. Once you know how to do that, it's really, really simple to, fill your coaching programs with what you want to do. So there's so here's part 2. There's lots of good quotes in here. This is not a hard sell. This is a heart sell. Good questions get to the heart of the problem / need very quickly without the buyer feeling like he or she is being pushed. Huge, huge, huge. If you're not asking questions on your sales call, what are you even doing? If you're not getting to the root of the problem, the why behind the why, what are you even doing? This is also what we do in the sales call bootcamp. So at the end of You've Got Clients, I have a one-on-one sales call bootcamp for clients. And what we do is we go through their sales process so they can essentially make it their own and customize it. And there's one client I was talking to and I was like, well, you're not asking enough questions. Like, why are you telling them about your program yet? You don't even know if that's what they need. You don't even know if they're a good fit. You don't even know if you want to work with them. You've got to ask them questions. So a lot of it I learned inside of the Sales Bible. Highly, highly recommend it for you as well. Definitely go grab a copy. Those are the 3 books that I recommend that will create your awesome sales superstarness. So any books that I missed that I should read, any books that you suggest, let me know. Leave them in the comments. If you like more information on You've Got Clients, or if I mentioned another program, I don't remember, but just go click into the comment box. There's more details in there. In the meantime, I'll see you guys on the next one. Okay, bye.